The joy of the Lord will be my strength. I will not falter, I will not.
This trip really opened my eyes to God's amazing love. Getting to see how happy those people were, even though some of them had absolutely nothing, was just awesome. They were all so friendly and so happy to see us. You could just see God's love in them.
The joy of the Lord is my strength. The joy of the Lord, the joy of the Lord, the joy of the Lord is my strength.
I think my biggest high of the trip was just being with the kids and interacting with the people, even through a language barrier. It really made me aware of things outside of myself and helped me to grow spiritually.
Surrounded by mercy and grace, the joy of the Lord is my strength. The joy of the Lord, the joy of the Lord, the joy of the Lord.
My spiritual high was when we went up on a hill overlooking Rio San Juan, and we all prayed over the city and the long-term mission work that they were going to do there. It was inspirational to see God starting to work in a place that had never really known Him before.
Walking by faith, He will be strong to deliver me safe. The joy of the Lord is my strength.
Going to the DR was, to be cliche, amazing. I loved it all. Well, except a few certain details. Even the heat. What inspired me most, though, was probably what really inspired everyone. The power of God's love. It was great to see how wonderful, happy, and caring the people of a poorer country could be. And it was absolutely stunning to see how our team was immersed in it and gave back as much or more love than what we received. Everyone stepped up and gave all of themselves to this project. Hearts, minds, bodies, and souls. Jesus was definitely present in each and every person, and nothing could ever compare to an experience like that.
The joy of the Lord, the joy of the Lord, the joy of the Lord is my strength.
This mission trip was really life-changing for me. When we went throughout the town on our Daihatsu and almost everyone waved at us, even though they didn't know who we were, I got a feeling of what true unconditional love is.
The joy of the Lord, the joy of the Lord, the joy of the Lord is my strength. The joy of the Lord.
Probably the thing that most impacted me was the incredible friendliness, generosity, and work ethic of the Dominicans. It energized me to try and develop that same spirit in myself.
Every mountain stream, every sunset sky, but my one request, Lord, my only aim is that you reign.
I felt like on this trip I really got to see God's love through the people in the Dominican. They were so open to hearing and learning about God, and it was just really cool to see their joy in their faces when we helped them. And everything we did, they just enjoyed so much, and that really impacted me.
So won't you reign in me again, over every thought, over every word, may my life reflect.
My spiritual high was in the women's ward at the hospital in Puerto Plata. 3 women I met there really touched me, and God just really opened my eyes through meeting them and hearing some of their stories.
Reign in your power over all my dreams. In my darkest hour, you are the.
I think the spiritual high that I will take back from the trip to the DR is seeing the love of all the people down there and all the children. When we just come in and all we can say is, "Ola, what's your name?" They didn't care. They just wanted to be loved and held, and they loved us back, and it was the greatest thing I've ever seen, and I really hope I could get to experience again, but if I don't, I'll carry it through for the rest of my life.
Reign in your power over all my dreams. In my darkest hour, you are the Lord of all.
One thing that inspired me was the day after the workday, where we planted 100 palm trees. My group was walking around town, and a Dominican local came up to me and started saying how amazing us cleaning up the town entrance was. And just seeing how quickly our small work impacted an entire town made me realize how easy it is to touch people's lives.
Love that's never failing. Let mercy.
This trip just really opened my eyes to the suffering that some people in some parts of the world experience on a day-to-day basis. It just reminded me of how blessed I am in material wealth. It also really opened my eyes to just how big God's church is, that it isn't confined just to East Hill, and that there are people throughout the world who are serving the same God as we are. This trip also just reminded me of the power of prayer and just that it does make a difference because I know that God's listening.
He is mighty to save forever, author of salvation.
The part of this week that I saw influenced me the most spiritually was easily the VBSs. It was so easy to see God's heart in all of the little children that would come and want to play with you. They would just walk out of their homes and follow us to the local outreach center. They instantly trusted us, and because of that, any barriers that would have been set by a comfort zone were no longer there.
I give my life to follow everything I believe in.
Down in the DR, I really think we all grew spiritually. You could almost see some of us being affected by what we did or saw. Usually, I don't think I've been focused on the spiritual God part of what we do. It's just a fun thing to do with friends. But while I was down there, I really connected to what I was doing and focused on how I was helping other people. The smiles on everyone's faces down there, along with the beauty we helped with, really show me God's power. Their conditions seem so much worse than ours, yet they're so happy. And each thing we did really made people down there genuinely happy, like it wasn't something simple we could do every day. And that was an encouragement for me to focus on more than just the fun and to work to grow closer to God.
Shine your light and let the whole world see. We're singing for the glory of the risen King. Savior, He can move the mountains. My God is mighty to save. He is mighty to save forever. Author of salvation. He rose and conquered the grave. Jesus conquered the grave. Savior, He can move the mountains. My God is mighty to save. He is mighty to save forever. Author of salvation. He rose and conquered the grave. Jesus conquered